This is the last talk given at Basis Hall, Hollywood, California, on Wednesday, December 11th, 1963 at 8 p.m. This is a talk given after initiation.
I have been addressing you as friends, but I now see that we have realized that we are all brothers and sisters in God. We are all children of light. Most of us here have been able to have a glimpse of the light of God which is controlling our universe. Truth is one. Whoever realized truth or became the mouthpiece of the truth, they always gave out the same thing. In the man body that we have got, which is considered to be the highest in all creation, the highest aim is to know the truth. So you can have the experience of truth when you rise above body consciousness and come in contact with that. That truth is clothed in light. There is music of all harmonies is emanating from the truth. Those who are fortunate, who have the good fortune to have a contact with that seed has been sown, that will bear forth fruit. The only thing remains that we live up to that truth. Our master used to say, if you take some pills of laxity pills, whether you take it by error or knowingly, that will give you motions. Similarly, whatever experience of truth has been given up to you, if you live by it knowingly or unknowingly, or by compulsion even, you will have the effect. The only thing is we should take it, live up to that, and day to day we will progress, and one day we will find the true home of our Father. God into expression has two aspects, light and sound. Music of the spheres and light. To come up to that, we require love. And truth is above all, but true living is still about truth. So our true living will safeguard us from losing that truth that we have got. And what is true living? Masters have been given this in their own way from time to time. First thing is, we should observe truthfulness. What we mean, we should say. What we say, we must mean that thing. Our hearts and tongues and the brain all agree with what we give vent to. This is what is called truthfulness. Simply you will find we have no control over our words of mouth which go to express what is lies in the heart of our hearts. The two things should agree, what is your heart and what you're giving out to your tongue. If those two agree, then there's one thing to test the usefulness of the truth, what you utter. If your truth goes to harm anyone, well, only say that much what is required, so that may not harm anybody else. Don't do the work of the unpaid apprentices of the CID of God. Don't carry tales. If somebody tells you something, mind your own business. What you're after really. you are really after to know God and just adopt certain ways which goes to help you on the way. If you see something wrong somewhere, you just point out to him privately, heart to heart. Not broadcast it like anything. If two friends is one who sees other to be on the right path, but there are ways and ways to tell. As I told you, in the case of Father Abraham, I read his life story and it is given, he never spoke lies but told half-truths. By half-truths you mean only that much part of the truth which does not go to harm anyone. This is the one thing very important. If your heart and tongue and brain is the testing, your intellect is to test whether what you express that goes to the benefit of others or harm others. If that is going to harm others, then don't speak. Then you wait. Better set right than in there. So as I told you before, like the unpaid apprentices of the CID God of God don't work. That creates much trouble first within your own hearts, because you have got those things which you don't need in your own way. Those things go to stand in your own ways, in your own progress. The first thing is, we must be true to our own self. What we think at heart, we must give out. But before give it out, think twice. What are you going to say? What would the result of that? Then you use your intellect there. And the only criterion is not to give out anything which goes to harm others. This is the first thing. Then comes next is humility. Humility, you see, water stays in a place which is low. Water may be raining torrents in cats and dogs that would not stay on a steep place. That means all good will reside in a heart which is just lowly, who are meek. So, humility, Saint was asked, Pythagoras, well, what is the way back to God? And he said, first humility, second humility, and third humility. Well, when you are humble, you learn something. When you know everything, naturally you are just stuck fast in your own self-assumed ignorance, which may be taken as truth, but that may be wrong. Just you have taken something, and that's good. If you hear somebody else is there who knows better, go to him and hear him. At least that much, whatever you know already. If you hear him, just what you have already in your mind, that will be confirmed. If he has to say anything more, you can grasp it. So you'll find many of the people do not have more truth because they are just in their own egotism. They consider they are right and that may be wrong, you see. So only such a man can go to somebody when he is humble. Even if he goes to somebody, there also what he knows, listen what he says. Sometimes we simply, we know already this one, this is no new thing. Just listen, he might have to say something new. Whatever tumbler, glass is put on the tumbler of water, that will be filled. If the glass is kept above the tumbler of water, that won't be filled. Even if you have just progressed on the way, you have known the truth, you still become true humble. When a fruit-laden tree is just laden with fruit, all branches, bow down to the earth. You will find the saints who have become conscious co-worker of the divine plan. They are truly humble because they see it is He doing, not I. So the second thing required is humility. And the third thing is chastity is life and sexuality is death. Be chaste. Chastity opens the door of meditation. You have quicker results. Marriage does not mean unchaste lives. What is lived according to what the scriptures say. The scriptures tell us marriage means taking up a companion in life who will be with you in the earthly sojourn. You should help each other to know God, which is the ultimate goal of a man's body, which we are having, fortunate. One duty may be of begetting children, not all. Try to adjust your lives according to the scriptures. And for that, what Christ said, you love your wives as Christ loved the church. That taking companion, you see, in the earthly sojourn for some higher purpose. So chastity is the ground on which the building of spirituality can be raised. First of all, that those who are chaste, they have got their body built, brain, everything built on that. So just you are married, try to live up to what the scriptures say, you see. These are the three things. If you just observe them, he says, if you don't, Tulsi says, if you don't reach God, well, be rest assured, I am your surety. You will, you must. So for that you'll find we have to attain to Godhood. God and Godhood are not two things. God absolute is there, which cannot be seen at any time. God into action can be seen, can be contacted. And the expression of God in action power, which is called word or nam, are light and sound. To come in contact with that is coming in contact with the truth. They are the electric lifts. If you just come in contact, they will take you to the ultimate goal from which those things emanated. So fortunate are those who have been just put on the way by having a lift above this iron curtain of the physical body. We have to dwell that by day to day. But for that, something very important, you see. Purity of life. Purity of life, that has so many aspects. First is the purity of the body. Body is the temple of God, true temple of God. Outer temples raised by the people are made of the image of the man body. And they are models. The light of God and the voice of God is already within your body. You can hear that, you can see that. Christ said to his disciples, blessed are you that you see things what the old prophets and the righteous men could not see. You hear things what the old prophets and the righteous men could not hear. So there are seals, our eyes and our ears are sealed. With the grace of God in the Master, if those seals are broken, you have got some experience of seeing and hearing, then we have to take heed. We should keep this man body, which is the true temple of God, In this man body only you can have an experience of the same. So if we keep the outer temples raised by man, by the hand of man, we keep them so clean and tidy, why should we not keep the man body, which is the true temple of God, in which God resides? Why should we not keep it clean? For keeping clean, there are two ways. First is just cleanliness is next to godliness. Keep your body clean. It is the true temple of God. And also don't put in anything into it which goes to defile the body. So for that you'll find we have something to eat. And for that the first thing is required is true livelihood. Livelihood earned by hard dint of labor, by the sweat of brow, in which there is no dishonesty. You have been true to your work. Work is worship. And then further, whatever kind of food you take, that should be helping. We do not go to flare of passions within you, which is digestible. You will find generally fruits, vegetables, grains, milk, and any products thereof. So all masters came and advised, even Christ advised that. If you read the Ascending John, Gospel of John, you will find it there. Whom you cannot give life, don't take their life. Fruit, vegetables, and milk and grains, I give you for meat. These are the exact wording. All other masters have to say the same thing. So first, our livelihood should be earned by sweat of brow, honest earning, whether somebody is seeing you or not. The God in you must see to that. Two men went to a master. When master told them, well, look here, what for you have come? They said, we have come to just know God. All right. He gave them 2 pigeons, one to each, and told them, all right, go and kill them where nobody sees you. One man was very clever. He went out behind a wall and killed and came back within a few minutes. And the other man, poor fellow, was tossing about from place to place. He could not find any place where nobody was seen. In the evening, he returned. He said, Master, I have not found any place where nobody was seen. I said, who was seeing you? And then the very pigeon was seeing at me. So, by that, we should be seeing that our God power, you see, when a man is initiated, that God power resides with the initiate. Watch his every action. Our master used to say, if a child of 5 years is sitting, you do not do anything wrong in front of him. You want secrecy. When you think that God power is already residing with you, how can you commit any sin? And the last thing is, so whatever you brought for your eating, the hands through which these things pass, those should be also pure thoughts. Because little things charge those things which pass through such like people who are unchaste. And I read in scripture, probably the unchaste thoughts are like dogs. You see? So, earning should be pure, honest earning. And the quality of the food you take, that also should be clean. And through the hands to which these things pass, those also should be clean. A pure heart. Because everything is charged, you see. Whatever thought just reverberates in your mind, you have got charging like that. Why don't you feel? That's the point. We do not feel because already so much filth in us, say in tons. If a man or say even a seer, you see, kilometers is added to it, what difference does it make? Those who are pure in hearts, even little ounces will affect you. So honest earning, the quality of the food and the hand through which these things pass should be pure. First 2 things, are, I think, for those who earn and bring things from outside. And the second part is those who cook, who prepare the dishes. They should prepare with very noble thoughts of God and love for all, with no anger, with no enmity, nothing of the sort. Then last will come good character. So these are the things required which go to defile anything we eat. If your hearts are pure, you'll feel it, little thing will affect you. So we have to take for that reason first the bodily, because in the temple of God keep it clean, and also keep it clean from within by giving such like food that does not go to defile it, and also living a way which is pure. So blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Even if you see a fish, even that is just in a river, may be put in river, still in bad odor does not leave it. The water can cleanse your bodies, but unless your thoughts are pure, your mind is pure, your body cannot be pure. Just I will give you an example. Every day morning, when you take a bath, or one day you do not take a bath, you feel bad odor in the body. That is due to the thoughts that cross your mind daily. Every thought has its own effect, its own odor, its own color, mind that. I tell you, those who have got lusty thoughts, the odor from their body will be like one, just as you got something like that. Very bad odor, every day morning you cleanse again, you find that bad odor there. Those who are in anger and just resentful are just what you think, always having something against somebody. The result is what? That affects your body. You'll feel, just smell their bodies, you'll find just like bad odor just when the cloth is just burning. If you are very greedy, and very greedy so much so for eating this and that, everything too much voracious, you just smell his body, you'll feel the bad odor like a fish. So that these are different odors. If your hearts are pure, you've got only good thoughts coming in you, striking you. If you have love, thoughts of love, thoughts for spiritual heights, love for God. If you just smell his body, you'll smell the odor of just like jasmine. These are things are not given in the books, but this is how you feel. So the mind must be pure. Whose mind is not pure, however you cleanse your body, that will again give bad odor. That is why you see we use so much toilet every day, again we see the bad odor there. So for that we have to keep our thoughts clean. If such a man body is there, you'll find the good ground for the God to manifest. Tulsi saints tell us, just cleanse your heart, your mind. And what is that cleansing of the mind? Let no thought other than God strike there. Even if you are living in the world, you are living amongst your children, your families, your friends, just the needle of your compass should be towards God. It is God who has given. It is God residing in them. Always, when you think all men are alike, they got the same privileges from God, born the same way, in the same embodied souls they are, and the very God power is controlling them in the body. They are the bodies are the temples, true temples of God. Then naturally you will have respect for all. So this is the purity required for being able to progress from day to day. And then comes last of all is selfless service. Love for all. Love for God. Love with all others. This is what all masters say, you see. Kabir says so, Guru Nanak says so. Peace be unto all the world over under thy will, O God. Christ says so, love God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. So we have to love God, and love knows service and sacrifice. Love knows giving, sharing with others. Even sometimes you'll sacrifice your own interests for the sake of others. That goes to expand yourself. If need be, you'll sacrifice your own lives for the sake of others. Man is truly one who lives for the sake of others. Animals do live for their own self, they do love their children. What is the difference between a man and an animal? This is the only difference. The man lives for others too. He should share with others. Because we are all brothers and sisters of God. We are all share partners in God. We are just the limbs of the same body of God. And we have got the same conscious essence working in all, and the same God power controlling us in the body. So for these reasons, we must have selfless service. If we live for others, naturally others will live for you. An example better than precept. When you learn to give, you see, for the good of others, naturally you'll feel joy because you self-experience. You'll feel fresh. If you don't share with others, just go on congealing or hoarding for your own self like animals, result will be like that. There's a well from which no water is drawn out, that will give bad smell. Not even, I think, good for drinking even. Any well from which the water is taken profusely out of it, that well water is always fresh and fragrant too. So for that reason, Master says, let your boats of life remain in water, but let not water enter your boats. That means outer attachments, outer possessions, we don't live for them, but we live. We don't live for them, but they should live for us. We have to make the best use of them. So for these reasons you'll find these are very much important things which are always helping factors. So those who are put on the way and giving the contact with the God in action power, which is light and sound, well, that is just the commencement. That will lead you now. You have learned a little bit to rise above body consciousness. That light and wires, whatever you have contacted, that is just the initial thing. That has still to grow more and change, ultimately take you to the place from where these emanated, to the, what you say, the worldless state of God. So one does not become a true Satsangi, I would say. Satsangi word means, Sat means eternal, unchangeable permanence. And Sangi means one who comes in contact, constant contact with the truth. For that reason you have got some experience to start with. But you have to still further and live up to it. Rome was not built in a day. Time factor is necessity. When you dwell from day to day, you will become conscious of that light and the music of the spheres that is reverberating throughout all creation. So that will come in due course like that. But for that we have to work. So mind that one does not become a Satsangi, a truly initiate, simply by being given a contact. You see? Of course, some experience is necessary to start with. If you have got no experience, that cannot be developed. So fortunate you are that with the grace of God, you all of you have some contact with that thing. Now that we have to develop so much so that even while sleeping, working and anywhere, you will always be conscious of that. So he must, the initiate must mould his life in accordance with the principles of Satsang in thought, word and deed. You must be pure, live up to what you are told, even in your thoughts, even if you're in your own speech, and even in your own actions. You live up to them. And the Masters tell us, those initiates who live up to that, I am at their service. So actions speak louder than words. Thoughts are even more potent. You are not to tell that such and such, flower is very fragrant. Let flower emit that fragrance, and let others say that the flower is fragrant. Let your lives prove that you have got something higher. Otherwise, these things are already existing in our scriptures. Knowing something is not becoming something. Knowing means just having in your brains, in your memory, something such and such scripture says such and such. But that does not really give you anything unless you live up to them, and the people will judge only by your actions, what you speak.